Hello BookTube. Today I'm going to be doing the 26 random questions tag. This tag was created by David Murphy and I've been wanting to do this tag ever since I saw his original video almost 2 weeks ago. So let's get started because I do have a bit of a time crunch. So I need to get this done before I have to go run some errands. Question number 1. What was your most recent YouTube rabbit hole? Now, when I watch YouTube, it's pretty much all BookTube all the time. Although I also watch cooking videos and art videos, primarily pastel. But lately, I have also been watching a lot of anime openings, the theme songs. Namely from Fairy Tail and Naruto. So, Down by Law, Strike Back, Masayumi Chasing, I Wish, and then New Song, Diver, a bunch of others. I've been enjoying it, and it's kind of getting me wanting to buy more manga. So, but that, I guess, is my most recent YouTube rabbit hole. I don't really get onto rabbit holes, I think, in the way that a lot of people do. Question number 2. What song is currently stuck in your head? Currently, it is All I'm Gonna Do by Sheryl Crow, which recently displaced Crucify by Tori Amos, which displaced Red Right Hand by Nick Cave and the Bad Seed, which was stuck in my head for several months because, well, I did have a bit of a red right hand for a few months. So, fortunately, it's clearing up, so happy about that. Question number 3. What kind of music do you listen to the most? I don't think there is any one genre I listen to the most. I am wildly eclectic in my taste. I listen to classical, operatic, country, pop, rock, punk, techno, dance, J-pop, K-pop. It's pretty eclectic. Just yesterday I listened to part of the best of Maria Callas, and now before I listened to New York State of Mind by Keiko Lee, a fantastic Japanese jazz singer. I've also listened to the entire oeuvre of Phenomena, Susie and the Banshees. It's eclectic and wide-ranging. Question number 4. What is something you need to get better at? My art. I am a so-so pastelist. I use pastels to paint with. They're little sticks of pigment that you can draw and paint with. I really don't paint as often as I would like, and I would like to paint more and try to get significantly better at my art. Question number 5. Do you set goals? Yes, and most often they blow up in my face. What are your goals for the end of the year? Well, I don't really have any goals for the end of this year, except to get through it. Because the books I've been reading have been just, anyway. But for next year, reading-wise, I'm going to start the year off with the name tag. About a month or so ago, there was a name tag where you picked books with, I guess, the first letter of the title corresponding to a letter of your name. And I decided to go with books I hadn't read yet, thereby making a TBR. So I have a January TBR alls that's ready to go. And then in February, I want to do a Belle Redemption, which I'd wanted to do this month. And I like the idea of Belle Redemptions in December, but it didn't quite work out this year. So I'm going to do February Bell Redemption, and I'm sort of thinking about the books I want to read for that. Otherwise, not too much in the way of reading plans. Collecting, I still want to expand my collection, add a few more bookcases, colonize the hallway some with bookcases. Like to paint more, also do a bit more writing, try to finish some projects I want to do. Question number 6. When was the last time you lost your temper? Friday. I was watching Bookish's version of this tag, and while I was watching him, I was also trying to check some email, and my internet dropped. I have an incredibly old computer. It's like 7 years old, and it doesn't quite connect to the internet like it used to. And this has been going on for years. So I'm trying to reconnect, because normally all I have to do is go to the list where you have the like various internet connections on Wi-Fi and just click it and it'll come back, and it just wouldn't do it. And it took about 5-10 minutes, and then I was steadily losing my temper, and then I realized my a little whatever it is that kind of helps the computer get Wi-Fi was off. So I had to take it out of the computer and replug it back in, and then it came back. I'm like, and I know I really need to buy a new computer, but I don't want to spend the money on it. I really only want to spend money on so yeah, and this is going to come up quite a bit in this tag. Question number 7. Do you swear too much? I only really swear when I get upset and angry. That's when I swear. I mean, usually I don't, but sometimes you just need to drop an F-bomb. And dropping an F-bomb, even if it is every other word, does not make you a lesser person. It's just, okay. Question number 8. Do you spend too much money on shoes? The only thing I want to spend my money on are... So no, I do not spend money on shoes, if I can get away with it. The last pair of shoes I had, pretty much, well, I think the last 3 pairs of shoes I've had have all been gifts. Because it's pretty much as a thing where you have to gift me clothes, otherwise I'm not going to buy any clothes. But so like the last pair of shoes I had, the ones I have now, were like 30 something, and I think the ones before that were about the same. So no, I do not spend too much on shoes. I would like to spend less on shoes. Question number 9. What is the worst book you have ever read? Drawlands End by Felice Picano. It is a space opera written by I think he's generally a more literary or realistic author who just wanted to slum and write a science fiction novel, and it is terrible, just absolutely terrible. Question number 10. Are you a homebody or are you more adventurous? I'm typically a homebody. I don't particularly like to get out all that much, although there are times when I do like to go out and do things. And particularly with the pandemic, it's a bit more pronounced that I do kind of want to get out. I do want to go do things. I've missed going to the library, going to Golden's Book Exchange, going to the Friends of the Library book sale, other things. And oftentimes, if I'm in a situation where I do have to go out, I do become much more adventurous when I'm kicking the keister to do so. Even though when it comes to reading, I really do not like the reluctant hero who has to get kicked in the keister to get out and do the adventuring. Question number 11. Do you take naps? I don't know. I occasionally will during the early afternoon. I'll lay down and just kind of zone out. It's not technically a nap. I don't really lose consciousness. I just zone out for 20 minutes and then I'm usually pretty good. But I don't really, my sleep schedule, and that's kind of weird. And I suspect whatever Steve goes on about, like health-wise, I probably have it. But anyway, question number 12. Have you ever been to Minnesota, the greatest state in the Union? No, I haven't. Although there are quite a few reasons to go to Minnesota, I guess. I would kind of make a comment about the greatest state in the Union, which I think residents of all 50 states would argue that their state is individually the greatest in the Union. Although at the moment I'm particularly upset with Texas, so I'm not going to say Texas is. Anyway, question number 13. Have you ever tried to emulate someone? No. Question number 14. What is the worst food you have ever eaten? I can't remember. I don't think I've ever really had something that was... Well, I'll take that back. Greek yogurt. Greek yogurt is terrible. I just recently had it because obviously why it took me well over a week to do this tag. My mom had some health issues and she's kind of sort of needing a smoother diet, and my aunts kind of recommended making smoothies, and they kind of bought some Greek yogurt, and Greek yogurt is terrible. Question number 15. Do you enjoy bars? What kind? Are you or have you been a regular at one? No, I do not enjoy bars. I've only been to a bar 3 times in my life. All when I was 22, or roughly within that. The first time was a gay bar in Austin called the Cockpit, which wasn't that impressive. And then another time was some bar in Portland when I went for a conference, and while hanging out with some of the guys I went to the conference with was quite fun. The actual purpose of going to a bar, drinking beer, was a bit of a disaster because, quite frankly, I took one sip of that and I spit it out. It was terrible. I actually cannot drink alcoholic beverages. It's just, there's this bitter sort of taste to it, and I just like, no. And then the third time was in San Francisco when I was meeting like a graduate English student group, and it kind of turned into a disaster. But you know, those are the only 3 times I've ever been to a bar, and I never intend to go back. Question number 16. Have you ever been hungover? I assume you would have to have more than 1 sip of an alcoholic beverage to be hungover, and quite frankly, 1 sip of beer or wine gives me this ooh. So no, I have never been hungover because question number 17. When was the last time you laughed out loud while reading? I don't remember. I would think it was probably my first reading of City of Lost Fortunes, or maybe even The Last Sun by Katie Edwards. So Gather the Fortunes would have been by Brian Campbell. Sorry about that. Last Sun by Katie Edwards. I think it might have been the last time I laughed out loud about some reading. I could be wrong though. I don't usually laugh out loud when I with a book. Question number 18. How would you label or describe yourself politically? Weird. Within the context of contemporary American politics, I typically align mostly with progressives, with the more left side of the Democratic Party. Although there are write a lot of things about the Democrats and about progressives that drive me up a wall. Their congenital horrid, just being bad at politics, as Rick Wilson points out in his books. Just some of their obsessions, the sort of self harm that a lot of their they do just frustrates me. But I think it's also my politics are weird because while I broadly agree on the goals, a more just, a more equitable society, I kind of come at things at different angles. Say, for example, when you talk about education and education reform, the goal is usually to give students the skills to have good paying jobs. That approach to education infuriates me to no end. The purpose of education should be to turn students into citizens, well-rounded, well-reasoned, active citizens, not workers, not robots. So, yeah. So I kind of come at certain issues that I'm particularly passionate about from different angles and different takes. But, so yeah, my politics do tend to be weird, and if I wasn't on a time constraint, I would probably go a bit more into depth. Probably too much into depth, but yeah. Where are we at here? Question number 19. What was the last movie you watched? I think it was The Umbrellas of Cherbourg. And that has been a while ago on TCM. I haven't watched a movie in months. Largely because my schedule is when I finish reading at 6:30 or 7 and 6 on the weekend, I come in here and I watch BookTube. Although I've also been reading a little bit later in my usual reading times because the books have been quite dense, and I've also kind of wanted to get more books read. So I really only watch BookTube, and occasionally like art and cooking videos. So I really don't have the time to watch movies. I do sometimes watch like an episode around 10 o'clock when I'm doing my nightly pacing, or which I would also listen to music to it at that time. So, but it's not enough time to really watch a movie. And unfortunately, a lot of the movies I do want to watch, I don't know if I can find them on streaming services, which annoys me. And TCM's a pain in the butt, so as much as I love it, it is a pain in the butt. Okay, I need to. Here we go. Question number 20. Do you want kids? Do you wish you had kids? If you have kids, give a piece of advice. I do not want kids. I don't think I would be a particularly good parent. Also, since I'm gay, there are, the ethics of surrogacy, the problems of fostering and adoption, and it's really more difficult, and I don't really want kids. I don't think I would be a good parent, and I'm pretty set in my ways, and having a kid would be a wild disruption. Besides that, I'd much rather just spoil the 4 children of the apocalypse. Question number 21. Do you get along with your siblings? My brother, yes, I do get along with him, although he does infuriate me a good deal most of the time. And then I have a half-sister, like a much older half-sister, who I really don't have any contact with at all. But that's because she didn't have the greatest relationship with our father, and neither did I, so it's like, question number 22. What is a book you have serious issues with but love? Most of the books I do love, I do have serious issues with. but I think I would go with, let me think of one. Well, I think I could go with The Blood Print by Asuma Zehenet Khan. It's an epic fantasy, the first in the series. It's about a young woman and her allies trying to find a piece of a holy text to try to fight against a rising authoritarian um, interpretation of the kind of the global religion in the setting. And my I have one big issue, and that is that a lot of the two main male characters are in love with the main female character, and it kind of, well, practically like every male character in the book is in love with the main protagonist, and it kind of gets annoying because it's like, but that's my one issue. But although I need to go back to that book. I really need to finish out that series. Anyway, let's get on because I'm running out of time. Question number 23. What is your favorite theme song to a movie and or TV show? I'm going to go with, I think, Down by Law by Rampage from Exile Tribe. It's the penultimate theme song to the animated adaptation of Fairy Tale. But, I mean, I love a lot of those anime theme songs. So, but I think Down by Law is my favorite. At least at the moment. It does change periodically. Question number 24. Do you like your job? Yes. If you switch careers, what would you do? I don't know. I mean, that is going to be looming eventually. Although I can't talk about it for. So I think I would probably try to really focus more on my art and maybe writing, which, I mean, I kind of waffle on, but I think that would be something, or I don't know, honestly, like a more practical career. I don't know. I mean, I could go into teaching, but I don't think I would make a good teacher. I'm more of a scholar than I am of a pedagogue. Okay, question number 25. What is something you love about the city you live in? It has its moments of being rather interesting to look at. But yeah, that's probably waffling, and there really isn't much because I don't really like the city I'm living in. I wish I lived somewhere else, but I'm stuck here, so. And finally, question number 26. Who is your celebrity crush? So, I mean, there's a number of ways you can look at this. There's obviously the traditional interpretation of a person you are attracted to, that your heart, when you see them, goes pitter-patters and all of that. And then there's sort of that, I guess there's a new version of a crush where it's somebody you admire, you aspire to be. It's kind of like a role model, but it's not quite a role model. And I'm not entirely sure how to explain it. So I'm going to go with the more traditional interpretation of a crush. And for that, I think I'm going to go with Suga from BTS. I was watching, so I kind of fell in, I mean, like, first discovered BTS a few years ago, and with DNA, and then their follow-up was Fake Love. And I was watching the music video, and there's this scene where the Suga is in this room with a fireplace, and the fireplace kind of explodes. I mean, it kind of like bursts into a bit more flame than a fireplace should, and Suga has this smirk, and I melted, and I'm like, so For the moment, it's Suga, although I tend to crush on a lot of people. I'm a promiscuous crusher or something. But anyway, that was the 26 random questions tag. If you would like to do this tag and you haven't done this tag, consider yourselves tagged and wish me luck, because in the next hour or so I will be having to face the 4 children of the apocalypse. That's my errand, as I've got to watch them today. Anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and sign off for now and probably try to upload this before I get ready to go take care of the 4 children. So until then, have a great afternoon and stay safe.